What's up, guys? So back from an unintentional little break, but oh, you know what happens with life sometimes. You get busy and stuff happens. So finally starting to do my CD collection. I've been teasing this for a while, but it seemed appropriate because been wanting to do this. So it's now the time. I've also been kind of in a big black metal mood recently, so I decided to kill two birds with one stone and start this series. Started out with my black metal section. So I got 18 CDs to talk about today. I don't know how many I'm gonna do per video, but I don't want to go end it halfway through a band's discography, so I'm gonna continue on with if it's 15 or 20, just whatever. I don't want to cut off halfway through a band's discography. So yep, I'm talking about only 3 bands today, but a good chunk from each. So yep, let's get into it. But first, we are listening to a 2025 record, the new Cult of Fire. This one, Who Is Made of Smoke. Their debut is still my favorite, but this is definitely a great record by them. But all the stuff is awesome though. So yep, definitely one of the better bands from the Czech Republic, I think is where they're from, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, this is their, I think, 5th. It's been their first in a while. I believe their last record was 2020, and yeah. This Path Through Beyond Eyes, but if you're an American, you want the CD, Seeds of Mist has copies, so buy it from them. That's why I got this. I don't know about the LP, but at least they have the CD, so do that. Alright, so starting out with one of the most popular bands in the recent times. So I got 4 of their albums. I don't have the newest one, but I'll get that eventually. It's not expensive, but let's start with the debut. I'm going to butcher all of these names, so I apologize. This is In Ilo Alinea. I'm sure I butchered that, but this came out in 2020 or 21, I believe, because I know they were all of the materials from the 2020s, I believe, but yeah. And all these are put out through Deborah Moti also, which, yep. You can see the front. They're labeled atmospheric black metal, but to me they are a lot more aggressive than most of the bands in the style. Cause they're definitely not pretty. They're super blasty and a lot faster than most of those bands, but they're definitely one of the better bands in modern times to put a style. But they seem to be kind of divisive, because I know some folks that don't love the vocals, which I get that. She's not a very great vocalist, but I think it fits the music though, so I enjoy it. But anyway, there's the first one. And then this one's probably still my favorite. This is Trident 1 EOS. Can't really see the cover, so I'm sorry about that. Pretty bad glare, but oh well. Again, put out through Deborah Moti. And I got these all from Indie Merch, and I believe they still have copies of the CD and the LP too, so. These are all in Swiss lyrics, so no good for me, but oh well. So if you want to get into them, I suggest this album, but all this stuff was awesome, so there we go. Trident 1 EOS. Then we have Trident 2 Humia. So I believe the first one I heard was this album, so this is when I jumped on board, so this was 2021 or 22, sometime in there, but yep. See the front, back. I've mentioned before, if record labels offer a mail order service where they automatically charge you every month and they send you the new releases, Deborah Moti would be one of the labels. I would not hesitate at all, and I would definitely do that for them. So if anybody from that label's watching, start a mail order service and I will sign up immediately, because I trust that label. Cool poster with some of the lyrics, which again are in Swiss, so they are useless to me. But there you go. Trident 2 Humia. And this one still seems to be the most popular. This is when they blew up and went to the next level of popularity. This is Trident 3 Nyx. So I remember I saw tons of people I never saw show their previous record. They jumped all over this, so definitely cool to see them get more popular. And then here's the This one definitely has the worst artwork though. I'm not sure why they went with that. It's super boring, but oh well. And again, Leo's and Swish, so useless for me. I don't have the newest record yet. It's not hard to find. I'll get that eventually. But yep, there you go. That is definitely one of the better bands playing this style in recent years. So there you go. Check it out. Like I said, if you want to get into them, I say start with Trident #1. But all of these are awesome, so you can't go wrong. There's alrighty. Going to the kings of Austrian black metal, so you know where we're going with this. Abigor. So unfortunately, I only have 6 of the albums because they're kind of expensive, especially if you want them on vinyl. Forget that. I'm not even attempting to do that, but oh well. So let's start with the debut. This is Veerstone Invoke the Dark Age. Definitely, I would say these make a good pairing because this is definitely, I would say, they're like most raw and not their fast, but they definitely got a little bit more symphonic. Not like demo symphonic, but they definitely added some more keyboards later on. But so I know some people that don't really like the keyboards in the black metal seem to gravitate towards this one, which I can definitely see why. Cause like I said, is their most like raw and energetic sounding record. Love their logo too, simple crossbow. Always love that. In the back, this is a World Terror Committee reissue, which I believe this was on Napalm originally, which is pretty cool back when the label was awesome. And then here's the little inner sleeve. More pictures of the dudes in the band. Ship Winterstone, Invoke the Dark Age, 1993, I believe is when this came out. And then Look the Retaliation. I know this one's either considered EP or a super short full length, it's below a half hour, but if Rain and Blood's a full length, then why not? This one I don't really see folks talk about. It's either the debut or they go straight to Knock Diamond, but this one doesn't really seem to get as much attention. I'm not sure why, but oh well. But I guess being in the middle of those two, it kind of seems to be why it doesn't get the attention it deserves. Again, put out through WTC. Here is the lyrics. Look the Retaliation, awesome record. I think underrated as far as the early stuff. And then for my money, we have their masterpiece. And honestly, this is a top 5 black metal record of all time for me. Knock Diamond from the Twilight Kingdom, 1995, which I've made obvious is my favorite year for black metal, which I still stand by that. But cool cover art too. I mean, it literally sounds like it would be made in a castle, so it's like perfect, like castle-y black metal, but it's still evil sounding, which Abigor never ditched their evilness despite getting more symphonic, unlike some bands. But oh well. And even though the first two I think are more extreme, for me this is when they actually became Abigor, because the first two were cool, but this is definitely where I think their sound was perfectly captured. So yeah, awesome record. Definitely, if you want to get into Abigor, this is the one I suggest, but most of the records are awesome, especially all the 90s ones. Yep, there we go. Knock Diamond from the Twilight Kingdom. Then we have Opus 4, my second favorite behind Knock Diamond. Definitely, again, they like to make pairings. These are definitely a good pairing. So if you like one of them, you like the other and vice versa. But yep. Cool medieval, like, torture chair device thing with, like, spikes and stuff. Again, WTC Productions reissue. And then here's the lyrics. Again, just open this up. Oops. I know you can't really read that, but oh well, I just want to at least show it so you can see what it looks like. This one was in 1996, I believe. Originally on Napalm, I think, also did this one, but yep. There you go. Opus 4. And then this one is probably my third favorite. I mean, this one, honestly, it's definitely their version of, like, Anthems of the Walk in the Dusk Era Emperor, which I have no problem with that. Anything that's, like, that style worship, I love. So that's probably my favorite black metal record of all time. At least at the moment it is, but so anything in that vein, I definitely dig, so, yep. I know some folks that don't like this record as much because it's basically like an Emperor clone, but oh well. So there you go, again, WTC. Here's the insert the CD. I think this came out in 97 or 98, so also pretty close to being released at the same time as Anthems, so that was 97. Alright, also, the second Disaster record uses the same picture, obviously. So there you go, Supreme Immortal Art. Unfortunately, I don't have Invoking the Throne of Satan. Is that the one? I don't remember what, but the album after this one, and then skipping a whole bunch of their more like avant-garde material, which I like, but definitely I prefer the 90s stuff opposed to like the post 2000s material. But then we have their second most recent from 2019 maybe, Todish Langer. So I would say this is definitely a more like normal album opposed to their like more progressive later stuff. So I would say this is almost like Supreme Immortal Art through Satanized eras, like late 90s / 2000s, opposed to the more like crazy kind of like avant-garde mid 2000s eras. So if you want a fan of their like later stuff, this is definitely a good one to get into if you want to hear one of their more like modern records. But yep, there you go. I'll get the rest eventually, but like I said, they're kind of expensive and hard to find, but oh well. There you go. Abigor rules. I love most of the albums I like. There's only one I'm not really a fan of, but besides that, you can't go wrong. So there you go. Abigor. Alrighty. Ending with my favorite American black metal band. I've mentioned them a bunch, so this shouldn't be a surprise. Absu. So let's start with the debut, which is not black metal, but whatever. So this is Vitriol Verathron. So this is almost like a evil death metal record. So this to me is almost like they're taking an incantation album or something. So definitely has that style, which I'm not sure where the influence came from for them to flip on a dime. Like some records when they transition, you could like hear it. It's like no, on the second record that was already gone. You could completely tell they were different bands. So not sure what had them change that style, but oh well. Anyway, there's the front, back. This is a Osmos reissue. It says 97 reissue, but I know originally it came out in like 92, I think. So there's that. The opening, well, the first real song is Sent into Acheron. It's definitely one of their best songs. That opening riff in the beginning is awesome, but yep. One of the best artworks, though, I will say. So, here you go. Awesome record. So that is Verathrum Vitriol. Then where the change happened, we got Son of Tipperath, 1994, I believe. 93, 94 is when this came out. Definitely the best cover art, but not my favorite record by them, but it is close. So this is almost like, well, basically after the debut, they became almost like black metal, thrash, and heavy metal. So they're a pretty unique band, which is pretty cool to have those different influences mixed up within their sound, which there were other bands that did those combinations too, but they were definitely a super unique band that nobody sounded like back then, and I still argue that nobody sounds like Absu. They definitely had their own unique sound, especially with Proscriptor's vocals. See, there you go. The Son of Tipperath. Only 7 songs, but it's all you need, so 7 bangers. And then we have an EP, In the Eyes of Joldinak. which I'm sure I butchered, but this one doesn't seem to get mentioned as much as the other ones. Maybe it's because it's an EP, but oh well. Even this one actually has more songs than the Son of Tippereth, but it's shorter too, so I guess that's why it's called EP. You can see this one's 9 instead of 7, but oh well. Again, Osmos reissues, I think all of these are, yeah, all of these are Osmos reissues, so oh well. Let me show you the CD. Here is the booklet. The main man, prescriptor. So there you go, the Eyes of Jordanak, which I'm sure I butchered, but oh well. And then for my money, we have my favorite record by them. This is the Third Storm of Cythereal, so 1997 is when this came out, I think. 95, 96, 97, around that area, but yep. Definitely I have to say this is their, not their like most popular, that's what's coming next, but this is my favorite though, which, this one seems to be kind of divisive. I'm not sure why. I know some people that love their other stuff, but not really a big fan of this one. I don't really know why that is, but oh well. I will say this, they're like thrashiest records, so maybe it's because of that. Like they're like least black metal influence one, but oh well. Still super aggressive though, so you could definitely tell they were like, they didn't ditch black metal, but you get the point. It's more like a super evil ripping black thrash record. So maybe that's why it's my favorite. Yep, the Third Storm of Cythereal, awesome record. Like I said, my favorite, but this isn't the one I would recommend, because the one I would recommend if you want to get into Absu, like most people, this is definitely the magnum opus Tara. This one's pretty long, but all the songs are awesome, so it doesn't feel long. So definitely I would say this is like their sound perfectly captured. Which I would say this record later on, they definitely got more epic sounding, which they weren't really epic in the beginning, but here you could definitely tell they were trying to be more of like a triumphant band, if that makes any sense. So it's like more grandiose and kind of like bombastic almost, but compared to the earlier material, but oh well. This is why I say this is the one where they like became what they were on. This is the one where they would become like their sound going forward would be captured, if that makes any sense. Another one of the best cover arts, so I love most of the artwork too. That's pretty sweet. It has a bunch of different pictures and lyrics and shit, but oh well, you get the point. It doesn't matter. But here's the guys in the band. Pretty sweet. So like I said, even though Third Storm is my favorite, if you want to get into Absu, this is the one I would suggest, because this is, like I said, this has their sound perfectly captured going forward. So if you like this one, you will like the rest. So that's why I say this is the one to check out, because if you like this, you'll like the 3 after. So there you go. Absu, Tara, killer record. And then we have Absu, self-titled. So like I said, all the records are awesome, but if I had to choose my least favorite, it's probably this. It's not even like it's bad, it's still really good, just kind of like, I don't know, the songwriter wasn't as strong as the ones prior, and the 2 after I think were better too, but oh well, it's just me. Though track 3, Amy, is definitely one of their best songs. That opening riff in the beginning is awesome, so yeah. Again, I wouldn't skip it, just I wouldn't skip this record, but like I said, if you want to get into Absu, I wouldn't start here, but once you like their other material, then you can get it later. And this thing just fell apart, but whatever, I'll deal with that later. So there you go. Absu, self-titled. And then we have Absu. Wow, so creative, guys. Definitely by far the worst artwork. That's pretty boring and not very cool. I mean, it looks like it's like kind of like half-assed photo, like it's like a pre-rough draft what the cover would be, and they submitted that for some reason instead of the actual artwork, but oh well. Better than the previous record, but not as good as the following album, I don't think. So there you go, guys in the band. And this is a... I have no idea what label put this one out. It doesn't even say. No, it does not say what label put this out, but oh well, that's not important. Yep, Absu. Good record, but not one of the best. And then, I think this was the Prescriptum McGovern's Absu, which is basically an Absu record, so I don't know why they needed to bother doing that, which I know the reason why, but you get the point. So anyway, there's the front. So to me, if I had to place this time-wise, I think this could have been in between Third Storm and Tara, so it would have been like falling right in the middle, because it's like more epic than Third Storm, but not as much as Tara, so it could like middle of those two albums, like time-wise, so it could have been easily in between those two. Hopefully get some new material soon. That would be sweet, because they're due for a new one. This came out 4 years ago already, which seems wild. This is already 4 years old, because I remember when it came out, but oh well. And this signed to Agonia Records, which is kind of a pain in the ass to get their material, because I've ordered something from them in the past. It took like 5 months to show up, so that was kind of annoying, but oh well. It's more pictures, so you can see that. Another rough draft of the photo collages, but oh well. So yep, there you go. Absolute rules. So I hope they work on new material. So definitely, if they do, looking forward to whatever they've got in the tank. Because like I said, they've never come close to a bad record. Their worst album is still like at least a 7.5 out of 10. At least for me, it is. So there you go. So there's Absu. Definitely my favorite black metal band from the US. Alrighty, thanks for watching. I want to keep these videos about 20-ish minutes long, so this was a good length for this one. So, next up, I'm not going to give you a... I'll tell you what country, but let's see. Greece, Finland, US, and France. Looks like the next 4 bands, depending on how many CDs from each. So there's a little teaser, I guess. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Anyway, have a good day. Hails.